You want to get into astrophotography, but you only have a lens, a camera and a tripod? No problem. In this video I will demonstrate how to photograph nebula or galaxies without tracking. I will only use a DSLR camera, a 75 to 300mm lens and a tripod to photograph the Orion constellation. This video is not sponsored, I'm not being paid for it. All products shown in this video were purchased by myself. But now, let's get started. Before we start our astro session, I would like to briefly introduce the equipment we'll be using for tonight's astrophotography session. The first thing you need is a camera. Initially, you can use any camera you currently have. I use the Canon EOS 2000D. I will use this camera at an ISO value of around 6400 to capture as many details as possible in each frame. Additionally, you will need a suitable lens. There are certain aspects that are important to capture good images, but initially use the lens you already have. Since we could only use an exposure time of a few seconds without getting star trails in our image due to not using tracking, it's crucial to let in as much light as possible. Therefore, I recommend using the widest aperture your lens allows. For me, it's around f4.0. This is crucial because our goal is to ensure that our sensor receives the maximum amount of light possible. Today I will use a focal length of approximately 75mm. I have used this lens at 75mm before and tested that I can use an exposure time of about 4 seconds without getting star trails in the image in the end. The last thing you need is a tripod. The tripod should be stable, as it is very important that the tripod moves as little as possible during these 4 seconds in order to capture the sharpest images possible. Now a few details about tonight's process. I will capture images of the Orion constellation with a single exposure time of around 4 seconds, an aperture of around f4.0, an ISO value of around 6400 and a focal length of approximately 75mm. As the Earth rotates, the Orion Nebula will slowly move across the frame. Therefore, I plan to recenter the Orion Nebula in each frame every 3 to 5 minutes. Later, I will combine all these images using stacking software. See you later tonight when I capture the images. I'm finally out collecting data of the Orion constellation. You can already see my setup right behind me capturing images of the Orion constellation. I've been outside here for at least 10 minutes right now. My goal is to achieve a total exposure time of at least 1 hour, which should be enough to reveal details in the Orion constellation. My goal is not only to photograph the Orion Nebula, but also the Horsehead and the Flame Nebula. So I will continue photographing outside here, and we will see us tomorrow on the PC where we inspect the light frames I have collected over this night. Last night everything worked well, and in total I was able to achieve a total exposure time of around 1 hour. You can already see a single light frame here of the Orion constellation, which I captured yesterday. As mentioned earlier, I used a single exposure time of around 4 seconds, which is basically why you can't see that much details yet. Nevertheless, the Orion Nebula is already clearly visible. I took a lot of 4-second exposures of the Orion constellation yesterday to achieve a total exposure time of around 1 hour. To combine the single frames, I used Deep Sky Stacker. The image you can see here is my finished, processed version of this image. I believe this shows clearly that astrophotography is possible without tracking and with relatively affordable equipment. If you have any further questions, feel free to write them down below in the comments, and I'm happy to help. If I was able to help you or you liked the video, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscription. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and until next time.